Hello, we are back here at the Granite Mountain Movie Club, joined by Cool Frasier.
Hello, I'm Cool Frasier, and I'm cool, and I'm listening, and I'm cool.
What are you listening to, Cool Frasier? That's a surprise question.
Yeah, is this like a music question?
Well, someone accidentally, I don't know if it was an accident, maybe it was on purpose, but they referred to this as Media Club. They said Granite Mountain Media Club, and that is actually a more accurate name because I don't want to just talk about movies. I want to talk about TV as well.
Uh-huh.
And we haven't really talked about music much, but some point I'd like to start doing more music stuff.
Well, I have a thing I have a recommendation. This is like your underground, you never heard of them recommendation
Hmm.
that I've been listening to a lot lately. And it's the Spinto Band, Spinto. Um
I don't think I have heard of this.
No, they're a very small band. Like maybe their biggest song has like a million or two views on YouTube. Um, but most of their songs are like no one's ever heard of them. But I've been listening to them lately. Like I used to listen to them back in the day, right?
Uh
But they
huh.
kind of fell off my radar because they're not, you never run into them haphazardly. But I actually had a CD of the Spinto Band in my only car that has a CD player, and I didn't want to listen to NPR at the time, which is my normal listening.
Hmm. You're an informed citizen.
I I love NPR.
You're a high information voter.
That's right. And what would I do without NPR giving
Yeah.
me balanced, unbiased news? Um so yeah, so I'm listening to the Spinto Band debut CD. I believe it's Nice and Nicely Done is the name of the album.
From
Um
2005.
yeah. And man, it's good. They're a good band, and I like the songs, and everybody should listen.
Well, I'm looking at them on Spotify, and 34,000 monthly listeners, which is small, but big enough that yeah, they were obviously somewhat popular at some point.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, like they were somewhat like bigger than some of the bands I listened to in the indie scene, right?
yeah,
But and got on a couple shows and like, stuff like that. But they broke up. Well, they didn't really break up, but they quit making music in like 2017. Um so
yeah. The
yeah.
last album they have on Spotify, at least, and Spotify sometimes doesn't have all of someone's catalog, but they have last one was 2013.
Yeah, yeah, and they still like were performing and stuff, but they like were kind of like indie, like they had their own record label, right? And so but they like they put a video out on YouTube when they closed down their recording studio.
Hmm.
And so that was kind of like the end of the band as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna check out the Spinto Band, and all of our listeners should too. Maybe we can boost those Spotify numbers up to
Yeah,
like 100,000 a month, and the
yeah,
band will get back together.
with our 70,000 listeners.
Yeah, if all of our listeners listen to every Spinto Band song 1,000 times.
We've got it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad to hear what you're listening to, and I will check that out. So push like and reply and comment Spinto Band in the comment.
Yeah. I saw them live actually, so they're a cool band.
Okay, well, so I put you on the spot, and you had a good answer.
Uh-huh.
I was trying to trick you, but you got it. We actually are going to talk about we actually are going to talk about movies today.
Lot of
And
movies actually.
yeah, a lot of movies. This is a variety show. We're in 2023 now, and we're going to look back a little bit on the year 2022. Now, neither of us are like full time. We're not full time movie guys, and we both have a lot going on, so we can't see every movie. Um,
I gave a good effort this year though.
You did see a lot. I could tell you were getting out there. You were getting to the theaters and stuff, and um, but I can't watch nearly as much as I would like to. Just we got certain things going on, and so we're not. This can't be totally comprehensive, right? We're just going to be giving some of our impressions on the year, and I think it's safe to say that 2022. Granted, there could be some great things we didn't see or I didn't see. 2022 wasn't very good. This was one of the worst years for me in recent memory. I don't have it neatly. I don't have all my other years of viewing neatly divided up, and I couldn't say 2019 or something was good because I don't necessarily remember what was there. But this feels worse. What do you think? Is that a how are you with that?
Yeah, like it's weird because it's kind of like the first year we're somewhat back to normal at the box office, but I do feel like there's been kind of a change since COVID. Like things are different. I think there's a few movies that are good this year, and there was a lot of movies that are probably like good spectacles to see in the theater,
Hmm.
but they're actually not good movies. They're just good spectacle, I guess.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, like they're good rides. They're good theme
Yeah.
park rides.
Well, one other thing is previous years a lot of movies just like went straight to streaming and whatever, but like this year most movies released in theater. But yeah, none of them are that good. And some of the art house stuff is no good, and some of the like blockbuster stuff is no good. So it's like bad all around.
I think I heard that 2022 had 30% fewer releases than 21, and
Wow.
that's a huge amount. So they're maybe they were just holding off until people were truly back, and it does feel like we're like done now with. I don't want to even say the name of that virus because then YouTube will like censor me,
Oh,
but
right.
it does feel like we're like kind of done with that. Like people are truly done with that now. So maybe the studios are gonna feel better about putting more out. But um, yeah, if that 30% number is true, that's big.
Yeah, that's it, it feels like that though. Like there wasn't a lot to see in theaters.
Hmm.
Like if I was gonna go to the movie, it's like we had the Top Gun, and then like after that there was like nothing, and then there was like a Wakanda movie, and then Avatar.
Yeah, let's
And
look at
like
the
that
box office.
that's the second half of the year. Like that's all
Speak.
you had.
Yeah, speaking of the Top Gun, let's look at the box office. Which Top Gun was number one.
Mhm.
Well, one interesting thing about Top Gun is that it made 1.4 or close to 1.5 billion, but about half, almost half of that was domestic.
Yeah.
And you can compare that to Avatar, which is in the number two spot um, for their worldwide. They're at 1.4 right now. They're going to keep climbing, but only about a third of theirs is domestic. So Top Gun was like the biggest. It's got to be one of the biggest American hits in a long, long time, if not ever. I don't know, but so we had our Top Gun at the top, which most people seem to love. I think we did an episode about it. We were like pretty neutral on it. It's like a
Neutral to negative.
yeah. I mean, everyone says you're not supposed to think too hard about it, and
No,
if you
yeah. That movie was is like the epitome of like how Martin Scorsese said the Marvel movies are more like a theme park than film or whatever.
yeah,
But where like you go and you hop in the ride and it's in 3D, and you fly through it, and then you get off and you're like, well, that was fun. And yeah, it was fun, but it was not a good movie.
yeah. Um, and then so there's Avatar. I haven't seen Avatar yet. I know you have. Avatar sounds kind of like the same deal though, where it's a thrill
Yes.
ride.
Yeah, and actually, so maybe we should save. I feel like we should do a full episode on Avatar, but I don't. You haven't seen it yet. But in doing my due diligence of being a movie guy, I found an interview from a year ago about Avatar: Way of the Water with James Cameron, and it was like an official like studio interview.
Hmm.
And so he started talking a little bit about like his philosophy of movies, and it was very fascinating. because like he was basically like movies should be a ride,
Hmm.
like, and that's what he thinks. Like he's the opposite of Scorsese. He's saying like, no, that you don't make films about movies. That was one thing he said, like that's boring, and you should be creating new worlds that are something, so no, someone's never seen before. And and yeah, so like he's attempting to make like a fun ride for people to go and watch at the movies.
Yeah, and one thing. Well, first of all, I actually I really do fall on the side of a movie should actually have to be entertaining. Like that's I like I like art movies, right? I like
Uh-huh.
or I like movies that are, in quotes challenging or deep or whatever, but
Or maybe slow.
or slow, yeah, or contemplative. But they should be entertaining. Like that's I
Hmm.
think that's like part of the medium. Um
I say entertaining or engaging, maybe.
yeah, you should
Like it shouldn't be like you watch it and you're like, well, I don't really have any opinion on that. Like
yeah,
that's a bad movie.
there's going to be exceptions to this and stuff, but part of my thing is like, well, like why did this need to be a movie if like could you not have gotten this across just maybe in an essay
Uh-huh.
or a book or something like I don't think a book has the same obligation to be entertaining, but I think a movie should be entertaining. I think it's just like a commercial art for the most part.
Yeah. Well, I guess in my movie philosophy is I feel like there's two parts to it. One is movies should deliver what they promise, right? So like
Yeah,
if you go to watch Top Gun, you better see some planes go fast and some shirtless dudes play volleyball, right?
yeah,
And if
or
it doesn't have that, like why did I go see it, right?
yeah,
So in that sense Top Gun is a success, right? And same thing like Avatar. I want to go and see some blue people um fight some humans,
yeah,
right? And I want weird alien plants and biomes to be fascinated over.
yeah,
Um and at the same time I want cool action, right? Like you want big action set pieces that are fun and engaging, right? And
yeah,
if it doesn't have that, then you're like, well, why am I watching this? Which is the problem with like some Marvel movies. You go and you're like, okay, this is going to be a superhero movie, and then it's just kind of boring.
yeah. So the next on the list, um, in terms of money, was Jurassic World. I didn't even see it. Jurassic World Dominion.
It didn't even register that it existed.
Yeah,
I
it's crazy.
remember seeing the trailers, but then like after it came out, I never heard of it again.
It made $1 billion,
I know that's
and
crazy. A lot of it. So if you look though, a lot of it is foreign.
um, the split. It's about 1 billion overall, and 376 million was domestic. So, oh, actually, I'm on Box Office Mojo. They give the percentage 37.6%
Yeah.
domestic. Um, so yeah, that's just surprising. And I don't even I do not recall anyone mentioning it that I know,
No,
at least. Um,
I know nobody who saw it.
okay, so then next is so Jurassic World. I'd want to say okay, well maybe you know this franchise is obviously going to keep going if they're making $1 billion on a movie, but
They
um,
need to fix something about it.
yeah, and the of course the original Jurassic Park was was a great movie,
Yeah.
and I would be happy to go back to the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World universe, but like they got to do something that that is actually
Well,
interesting.
Jurassic World wasn't terrible in my opinion.
That's
But
the Chris Pratt one.
yeah, yeah, like it was a decent like relaunch of the franchise. And I was like, okay, like it's obviously not as good as the original, but it captured some of it and had updated graphics and kind of it was like Jurassic Park but like, you know, marvelized, right?
You know what they need to do?
Hmm.
Uh, they need to do a prequel. They need to go
Yeah,
before
that would be interesting.
before the island. Before what's his name, Doctor
Uh
Attenborough,
Grant.
whatever.
Yeah.
Um, he like one of his first tests or something.
Yeah,
They need
like
to
the
go back to like
first dinosaur born, and
yeah,
then
they
it
need to go
like
to the
bites someone's
70s,
finger off or something.
70s period piece. Um, not
Yeah,
period.
I would watch that. Like what I guess they're building to is they're doing like Planet of the Apes, but with dinosaurs, like where the dinosaurs' intelligence is growing. Like that's what they're trying to build towards. Um, but yeah, like basically all they've done is like, well, now there's a bigger, smarter T-Rex,
Hmm.
and they've done that like every movie. But then like I saw the second World Jurassic World one, and then it was like the first half was just like, let's do Jurassic World again, but bigger. And there's lava. And then there's like lava resistant dinosaurs. And then but then the second half of the movie is like a cabin in the woods, um ghost dinosaur chasing people in a cabin.
Yeah,
And I'm
dinosaurs
like,
don't
what is this movie?
dinosaurs don't seem like they'd be that good at fighting against like guns and helicopters and stuff.
Yeah, but if they're lava resistant, maybe they're
Yeah.
like bullet resistant or something.
Next was Doctor Strange. Did you see this one?
I did see it.
The Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. Was it any good?
No, it's not good. There's like, I guess if you're a comic book fan, like there's a lot of like fun, like, oh, that was weird to see. But like the 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 villain is not scary or interesting. Um, and like the motivation doesn't really make sense because it's actually one of the good guys from the previous movies, right?
Hmm.
And then they have like the Latina, um LGBTQ superhero who's like teaching Doctor Who what's what.
Yeah.
And then but like the thing you go to see it is like they go to a different universe, and then they have John Krasinski as Captain Fantastic or whatever from the Fantastic Four, and then they have the X-Men guy in it, Picard. So
Oh,
like,
he was in that.
yeah, he should, like they have like a cameo in one of the multiverses they go to.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, so like it's fan service and it's not good. It's kind of boring and too much CGI. Because there's like a zombie Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Glad I didn't see it.
yeah.
Um, Next was Minions: Rise of Gru.
Didn't see it.
Didn't see it. But kids' movies got to be some pretty good ROI on those things.
I'm sure.
Although like Minions is not really a kids' movie anymore. It's like Zoomers dressing up in their pajamas and going to see Minions.
Yeah,
Um, and Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Didn't see it.
I didn't see it either. I'll see it when it comes out on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Okay, here's finally one that I saw, and
Yeah.
we did an episode about it. The Batman.
Yep.
We did a whole episode about it. I think we liked the Batman.
I liked the Batman, although I haven't watched it again. So like maybe I didn't like it that much.
I watched it, I think, two or three times at the time.
Uh-huh.
Partly, I mean, the repeated viewings were mostly just because I was going to do an episode on it. But I mean, I think it was pretty good. I haven't really thought about it or wanted to go back to it yet. But that's not surprising because it hasn't even been a year. So
Yeah, and like since it's been almost a year since Batman, my thought on it is I really like the cinematography, and I think that should continue,
yeah, I thought it was
especially compared to other DC movies that I've seen.
yeah, and I think our theory from the episode was basically that it was pretty good, but it set up a world that could be really good.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's problems with it and stuff, but like to me it's like I would say it's worth seeing if you're a movie fan or a comic book fan.
Hmm.
Like
Next up was the new Thor. I didn't see it. I didn't want to see it,
I saw it.
and it was bad. Or
So a lot of people are like, "Oh, it was the most visually stunning whatever," but it's just more like throwing lightning at bad guys, and it had kind of a more interesting, they tried to have like a sympathetic villain again or whatever. But yeah, it's just like nothing, and then it's too much CGI, and you don't really care about anything that's happening. But like, it's definitely worse than Ragnarok, which felt more buttoned up as a movie. This is just kind of like random scenes thrown together with
Some
like Taika
ideas,
Waititi humor.
some ideas they had left over. And
Yeah,
the next two are actually. So I'm looking at
Chinese
a
movies,
worldwide
right?
list. What's that?
Are they Chinese movies?
Yeah, the next two are
We can skip
Chinese.
them.
Well, yeah, Watergate Bridge and Moon Man. Never saw either. I mean, I would be
I've heard
interested.
of the Moon Man.
I think I heard of that one as well. I would be interested at some point in going back and watching those, but I don't know. Um, and then number 11 was there was a Fantastic Beast. I don't think I even realized there was a
I didn't either.
Fantastic Beast movie. And I'll just quickly go through the rest here. Then we got Sonic the Hedgehog.
You know the Fantastic Beasts controversy, though?
Uh, well, she had already said Dumbledore was gay, but then in the movie they actually like show him like dating, right?
Well, no, they got rid of Johnny Depp.
Oh, he was supposed to be
He was
the.
the bad guy or whatever.
Oh
And
yeah,
then they just were like, "Oh, it's Mads Mikkelsen now."
and they got rid of him because of his like trial or something.
Yeah, because of like the trial or something.
Okay, well, he won that trial, so
Yeah,
I bet they feel dumb.
yeah, I bet they do.
Although they made 400 million, I don't know if that was considered a success. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog, Uncharted, which I actually saw,
I saw as well. I saw
because it went.
Sonic.
Uncharted went to Netflix, so that's why I saw it. I wouldn't have,
Yeah, I saw it
not
for
something I
free.
would ever go to see in a movie theater. But then we got Black Adam,
I saw that.
and I think The Rock said he doesn't want to do that anymore.
It's a terrible movie.
He doesn't want to be black
No,
anymore.
he tried to argue with the studio and say it actually made money, but they spent 200 million on making the movie, and with
Uh-huh.
advertisement they probably like double that. So it probably lost money.
Oh,
But
because part of his like he get paid more if it made money, so
no,
he.
he wanted to make like the DC universe his universe,
Uh-huh.
like his franchise
Yeah.
where
Okay.
he'd like fight Superman next.
And then we got Elvis, and we're gonna talk about that on an episode later. I think I saw that. It's
That gets its own episode.
yeah. There's a lot to say about it. Well, we'll talk about a couple other things, kind of like Elvis, but we'll do that later. Elvis was kind of interesting. I'm surprised, and I didn't love it, but for what it is, I'm happy that it did kind of well financially because it is different. It's something different at least. That's not like
Uh-huh.
a superhero movie. Although they try and kind of, you know, make Elvis into a superhero, but not in a literal sense. But um then we got The Bad Guys. I'm
Kids
not
movie. I
Kids
actually
movie.
saw it.
Bullet Train. I saw that. Lightyear. I saw parts of that. I think you saw
I
it.
saw it
Too
in
Cool to
theater.
Kill. That must be foreign because it only made 100 grand in the U.S.
Yeah.
And then the last one was Smile, which is probably the best ROI movie of the year because it was
Yes.
like a 10 or $20 million horror movie that made 216 million.
Did you see it?
No,
I didn't either.
I don't like a lot of like the pop horror stuff. I don't generally don't see it.
No, I don't either. But yeah, supposedly people like it. Like people smiling.
Those horrors they work, because it's like one of the only things teenagers can still do that makes them scared or something. Nothing scares teenagers anymore except for smile movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the box office. Maybe we spent too much time on that. Who cares? But kind of that's not a very impressive top 20. There's
Mhm.
not a movie in there that I'm like that was awesome.
Well, what is your top movie of the year then? What is the Granite 2022 movie seal of approval?
Honestly, this is not a comprehensive because I didn't sit down and list all the movies and I might be forgetting something, but as a balance of just like entertainment and being interesting and being a movie, was probably for me was Nope, the Jordan Peele movie. It was probably the
Ah.
most like interesting thing that I saw that came out in 2022. I can't think of anything that was
Yeah,
significantly.
you were very bullish on Nope.
Yeah, I like Nope, and I think there's some issues with it. I think we talked a lot about it being kind of like a Spielbergian thing, and it
Yeah,
is.
it's definitely a movie about movies.
Yeah, and I think there's a gear that it doesn't get into that takes it into like full Spielberg mode,
Hmm.
like that prime era action adventure Spielberg, but it still does a lot that's really interesting, and I think it'll hold up. I think in time people will recognize that it's Peele's best movie, at least to date.
I'm trying to think, man, of all these movies, like what is the best one? Like honestly, I would probably say The Batman would be my top movie for last year.
Yeah,
But that's not like a good recommendation. Everybody saw it, you know.
yeah, and I think we both picked. Nope wasn't not in the top 20 grossing, but it was just outside of that. But
Yeah.
we both picked kind of like bigger popcorn movies, but um,
You know what? I'm changing to The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which I didn't see.
but it's
I
your
want
favorite.
to see it though, and everyone should probably see it because I've heard good things.
I saw it.
Oh, was it good?
It's pretty good. It's pretty funny. The like the gimmick of the movie, it wears out before the end, I think. So, um, as I say about a lot of things, it could have been shorter, but
Do you want a interesting statistic?
yeah, what's that?
The Chosen season 3 episodes 1 and 2 outperformed The Fablemans
Um, in
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 box
money?
office. Yeah.
Oh, they put that on a screen? Like,
Yeah, yeah, they released the first 2 episodes of season 3 in theaters.
oh, I wanted to look at this will get us into some of more of uh the more artsy movies or whatever. But I pulled up let's see, this is vegasinsider.com, and it's 2023 Oscar betting odds. Who do you think
Okay.
they have?
Yeah, what's up for Oscars?
Well, who do you think they have at the top? Who's the most likely?
I've heard Top Gun has like some awards buzz, but I don't
They
know if
have
that's number 1.
Top Gun on their list, but it's not in the top 10 for Best Picture.
So best picture, what were people
No, this is
liking this
just
year?
betting odds, right? So this could
This
all
is
go out the
for
window.
best picture though, right?
Yeah.
Shoot. Um, I don't even know a movie to say.
You mentioned one already, The Fablemans.
Fablemans is probably on there, but is it the best?
It's number one on their
It's
list.
number 1?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
Which
I mean, I don't
nobody
know if
saw.
Vegas Insider knows what they're talking about. I don't know, but
It makes sense. It's a movie about movies and yeah, so it'll probably do all right.
they have Babylon at number two, which is also a movie about movies,
And a movie
um,
no one saw.
which I haven't seen and no one else has seen, but it sounds like something I'd be at least kind of interested in because it's
So, what's your prognosis on Damien Chazelle? Is
oh,
that his
what he
name?
did he did Whiplash, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I love Whiplash. I thought
I
that was
love
great.
Whiplash too, but
And
I did
then
not care for La La Land. Sorry, Golden Boy.
yeah, I'm neutral on La La Land. I thought it was all right, but let me
It
see what else he's done. I think I like
and then Babylon, right? Or he did First Man or
First Man. I
something.
liked a lot. I
Yeah,
think was
I didn't
underrated.
watch it.
Oh, First Man's good. They had that stupid controversy about the flag, which was like fake, and I think it kept a lot of the would be audience away from the movie.
Hmm.
Um, he did 10 Cloverfield Lane, according to Google. Um,
Really?
maybe not though.
Hmm.
Google gets it wrong sometimes. Let me see.
It just makes up facts like Chat GPT.
He contributed to the screenplay. Okay.
Okay.
I like that movie though.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say I like him. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, I guess I feel like Whiplash hasn't been surpassed in my mind.
Yeah, and from what I'm hearing about Babylon, I doubt it's better than Whiplash, but
Yeah.
I am kind of curious about it. Let's look at some of these other odds. So they have
Yeah, what
Babylon at
else do they got?
number two. I'm a little surprised by that, but at number three they have Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh yeah. Do we want to talk about that movie?
Yeah, this is my. I'll talk about this. This is my. I can't say it's my worst movie of the year, because I'm, there's always something worse, but certainly like the most. It was the worst movie that was.
Worst movie that's supposed to be good.
Yeah. Um. Oh, I know a lot of people like it. I just had a really hard time even just finishing it. Like it was. Just found it so boring, and the visual aspects of how they do the multiverse stuff was fine.
Right.
Um, but I did a little tweet review of it, and I think I said it has like Reddit humor, and Reddit
Mhm.
morality. It just did not.
Yeah. Yeah. So my take on it, and like I actually like I liked the cast. I thought that like it was cast well.
Yeah,
And
I had no problem there.
yeah, and I was kind of into it at the beginning. Like I was like, "Oh, this could be fun." Like I get it.
Hmm.
And it almost was like doing kind of like almost like a cult low budget sci-fi thing, but like in the style of like a Hong Kong movie almost.
Uh huh.
So I was like, okay, that's like interesting because like they're gonna have like Hong Kong fight scenes, because and and with kind of quirky humor. I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm sold on that. But then it felt like they ran out of jokes very quickly. like like they kind of had like the characters and like the mom was kind of being funny, the the dad was being funny and the grandpa was being funny and everything was like set up well. But then it was like after they set it up, they were like, "Well, we don't really have anything for them to do, so they're just gonna like hit each other with dildos,
Yeah,
and that's the humor." And it's like, well, that's okay, but like it's not that funny. Like
hey
you're
man,
relying on a gag joke that just is shock value. Like there's no actual comedy there. It's just like, oh my gosh, that's a dildo he got hit with.
you didn't think hot dog fingers were funny?
So like it's funny visually, but there's nothing there, right?
Yeah,
And honestly, like if they would have done more of like those weird like, oh, this multiverse they have bug eyes. I don't know, like maybe like it would have been more visually interesting, but really like that was the only weird one, and the rest of them was just like, you know, oh, you have to put a because basically like they have to do a random thing to
yeah.
transform into a multiverse. But 90% of the time the random thing is like shoving a butt plug up their butt.
Oh man, yeah.
And so
But
it's like this isn't funny. Like you guys have one joke which is dildos are gross and funny. And
the
then it's like, well, that's not a joke. I'm sorry.
yeah, I would have thought the hot dog fingers thing was funny for the 3 seconds it was first shown.
Right. But they
And
kept going back
they
to
go
it.
back to it over and over as
Yeah.
if it's like really funny and uh, um all right, next we got women talking, which I've heard about, but man, what a title.
Is that I thought you were making that up.
No, that's the real title of a movie that's supposed to win an Oscar. It's called Women Talking. Oh man. Can you imagine titling your movie that?
Well, it sounds like it's a joke.
No,
Like
I mean,
it would be like
well,
a joke in like Family Guy when they're reading off the Oscar movies.
I think it's a very
Women
serious.
talking.
Yeah, I think it's a very serious movie though. It's like
No, I
about
think I heard about it. There's some like who's the director? It was I don't know.
I
Doesn't
think it's
matter. I heard about it on
yeah,
NPR.
I think it's about women talking about whether or not to leave some like religious community or something. Something like that.
Oh,
But
okay.
but man, most people go to the movies to avoid women talking. So I don't know.
Yeah, they interviewed Sarah Polley, the director, on
On NPR.
NPR. Yeah.
Next one they got is Tar. I saw Tar.
You saw it?
Yeah.
Is Tar as based as everyone is asking?
No,
Acting?
no, that clip, the clip that's going around. I mean, I think in that little argument, she's told, she's channeling like Jordan Peterson, right? Like,
Right.
um,
Based?
well, I mean, she kind of, but so two things. Like, that's not really very representative of the rest of the movie.
Uh-huh.
Most of the rest of the movie is just her that woman, like not being ethical, like just doing little
Ethical.
doing little things to like that will benefit her and hurt other people. Um, and then that scene as well, the director, I could be wrong. One of our fans can fact check me if I'm wrong. I think the director said, in his opinion, Tar loses that argument to the goofy kid that's like
Oh,
the kid who's just like, I just don't I don't vibe with white men or something like that. Like that
yeah.
the director said he's like on the side of the kid. So
Well, great.
that's goofy to me. So I think the movie is ultimately, I hope I'm not spoiling anything, but it's kind of about her downfall. And
That's what I understood. Like it
so
was like her getting canceled or something.
yeah, and I mean, so some people say it's a cancel culture movie, and it is. But the movie is not clear on, they're not saying cancel culture is bad. Like that's not what they're saying. It it's up for debate, but they are arguably saying cancel culture is good actually because it weeds out women like
Bad
this.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so that
Tars.
which means there's two movies this year that are kind of vaguely about Jordan Peterson. Um, the other one, I think I made you watch it, and you're like, "Why did you make me watch that?" But it was that "Don't Worry, Darling" movie.
Yes.
Um,
Didn't Olivia Wilde like explicitly mention Jordan Peterson or something?
she says the Chris Pine character is Jordan Peterson. Like that's exactly what it's about. Like, you remember that
So
interview?
dumb.
There's a really funny interview where Maggie Gyllenhaal is interviewing Olivia Wilde, and
Yeah.
Olivia Wilde's like explaining who Jordan Peterson is, and she's like, "Do you know about incels?" And then Maggie's like, "No, what's that?" And she's like, "Oh, I need to tell you about incels." And she explains it, and like her explanation's really bad, but I think she's like, "Oh, it's entitled white men who think they deserve."
Yeah, it's like men who are entitled to women or something.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like, so this is a movie about them. It's like, and I thought that movie, which is not gonna win an Oscar, but
no.
um
Everybody thought it was dumb, but
yeah,
for different
I
reasons probably.
I thought it was actually okay, like the construction of the movie, like,
Yeah,
but
you made me watch it cuz we were going to do it on an episode, but I actually liked the first half of it
same. I thought the kind of, even though it's, you can tell they're setting this up to be like a
in
Trouble in the
Paradise.
Suburbs movie, yeah.
But I
But
thought it could have been some weird sci-fi thing that was the trouble, but it
yeah,
turns
well,
out
it
it wasn't.
was it was ultimately sci-fi, and I'm
Well,
just gonna
yeah, but it was well, before we spoil it for those who haven't seen, like the premise is you go into this like idyllic planned community that's in it seems like it's in the desert in
it's like
California.
Palm Springs,
Yeah,
basically.
in like in the 50s, and all the wives are like perfectly dressed and styled, and they all do ballet, and they're all best friends with each other, and all the husbands work for the same company, but it's very secretive what the company is and what they do. Um, but then you start seeing like, oh, there's this one wife who doesn't seem happy, and what's that about? And so there's and cracks start forming, and there's like some surreal things that start happening, and you're like, well, what's this all about? And but like that setup is cool and like interesting and fun. And also it makes you think like, wow, this would really be like a nice way to live.
Yeah. The movie actually doesn't do a very good job of telling us that the 50s were bad.
Right, right. Or that marriage is bad.
Yeah.
But but yeah, like it's a young couple. It's what's their names? It's Harry Styles, right?
Yeah,
And
and Florence Pugh.
Florence, yeah, and they're very good looking. They're in love. They're like always kissing and having a good time, and like they seem to really like get along well. Now she's doing a lot of chores or whatever, but like she's living in this beautiful house, like mid-century modern, lots of glass, like and she just gets to like chill at home.
Yeah.
And it seems like, yeah, this seems great. What's wrong with this?
Yeah. Um on the yeah, the so I'm going to spoil it now, but now that you're saying this, it's actually really weird that chores were even part of it,
Uh-huh.
because So here's the spoiler. It's not the 1950s. It's modern day,
Hmm.
and Harry Styles, incel Harry Styles,
Harry
has
Styles is actually an incel
he's actually an incel, and the
and balding.
his wife is actually his girlfriend, and she is a surgeon,
Uh
and
huh.
they live
She's
in
a
like
boss lady.
yeah, they live in like Chicago or something in a really bad apartment, and she's a surgeon, and he drugs her and
Well,
hooks her up.
he she dumps him.
Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, I forgot that.
Yeah. She's like, I'm done with you. I'm a surgeon. I'm a boss lady. I'm gonna be on my own. You're out.
Yeah,
And that's when he decides to go with this Jordan Peterson, Chris Pine men's rights activist guy online who's saying, I've created this virtual reality experience that will allow like you buy into this cult basically and we'll put your wives in this thing and they'll be perfect wives in this virtual reality and they'll serve your every need because you're entitled to that as a man and um and you just like give me all your money or whatever.
yeah, and so yeah, so Harry Styles puts her into the simulation, or the VR, I guess,
Hmm.
and then he goes into the VR too, but he gets to leave the VR for an hour every day or something.
No,
And
they he has to leave to go work to pay for the VR.
oh yeah, okay, so he actually does work. Yeah,
Yeah, so like when the men drive off to work, they are actually unplugging from the VR to go make money to be able to pay for the
yeah,
p- trapping their wives.
yeah. It's just a very silly reveal at the end. It's like that. That's why I bring back the chores thing. Like he's putting his wife in VR. Why is he making her do fake chores? Like if you're gonna be in
Right,
VR
yeah.
and you're gonna be like drugged up on like morphine or whatever they're on, why not just make it blissful? Like
Well,
why
and the
do
chores weren't that bad because none of them had kids.
yeah. And more spoilers, but there are kids in the community, but they're fake. They're just part of the
Right.
VR.
So like what's revealed is that Olivia Wilde's character actually knew about it and chose to be in it because she wanted to be around her kids
Yeah,
who
she
died in
chooses
an
to stay.
accident.
She likes her
And
fake kids.
yeah, so some of the women were there voluntarily. So it's like it's supposed to be a metaphor for marriage that some women choose to be enslaved by marriage and some are forced into it by men. And so but yeah, like once again, it doesn't seem like that bad of a world if it's like actually like that good of a VR or whatever.
Yeah, just
But
a really goofy movie. And anyway, um,
yeah,
so coming back. That's two prestige movies of the year that are basically Jordan Peele resentment movies.
Peterson. um,
Or yeah, Jordan Peterson, not Jordan Peele.
I hate Jordan Peele.
Yeah, Jordan Peele is locking up all these women, all these white women.
But my favorite thing was them trying to make Harry Styles ugly.
Yeah, they just give him a
They
patchy
gave
beard.
him like a patchy wig and beard. And it's like this is like the hottest guy ever or whatever. And they're trying to act like he's an incel.
I don't think he's that hot.
He's supposed to be hot
No,
though.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I know. Yeah, I know. Like the role he plays in the real world, but
Yeah.
um, okay. Next, like we got She Said. Never heard of that. I'm not even gonna talk about
No.
it. The Woman King. I didn't see that.
All of these are women talking. We could rename She
Yeah,
Said to Women Talking, rename Woman King to Women
I heard The
Talking.
Woman King is actually entertaining as a movie,
Really?
although it's based on a tribe who the thing about The Woman King,
Yeah.
like those women in real life actually just like kidnapped other black people and sold them into slavery. So
Right. They were like integral to the slave trade.
yeah. um and then now you got Banshees of Inisherin. I thought that one, in previous times I'd looked at these Vegas lists, Banshees was like number one or two. So I'm
Really?
surprised to see it way down here. Um
Yeah, I haven't heard that much like buzz around it other than in our chat because a lot of guys really liked it.
mhm.
Um it's a good movie, but I can't say I liked it.
I was right there with you. I mean, I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10. It's like one of the best movies of the year, but it's not. I don't know if I'd ever watch it again. Like I
Yeah,
might.
like if you want to be depressed, it's a great movie. Like go watch it. But
Yeah.
I don't necessarily love watching a movie and then at the end feeling like crap.
I didn't have that same feeling because I think I mentioned it. It's like I've been around so many Irish people. They
That's just
They
how they are.
they're so into this, like, they're just always fighting, like, there's just some little squabble they have with their friends and family, so that's just how they are.
Yeah, but there's elements of the story that are just depressing.
Yeah.
But but yeah, it's a nice slice of life. It reminds me of do you know the movie The Secret of Roan Inish?
I know it, but I can't remember what it is.
It takes place in Irish Island where people believe they turn into seals. And but it's like the same time period, like early 1900s Ireland. So in that sense, I because that was a movie I watched when I was a kid for some reason. But but yeah, like it's got a good setting, good music, good cinematography, um, good acting, but it's just like it's kind of depressing and it's a little over the top.
Mhm. I've never
To be
seen it, but I would
believable.
check it out.
No, I'm talking about the other one.
Oh, sorry, I got distracted by a text.
Ronin-ish is just a old movie, so it's boring
Oh.
because all old movies are bad.
Yeah. I'm looking through this list, see if there's anything else that would Top Gun is actually on the list. It's pretty low, but I think Top Gun will end up getting a nomination at least because you want to recognize that you're like those big hits. And
Yeah.
you want to get Tom Cruise to attend the Oscars.
Yes.
Um
And talk about video interpolation.
oh, they actually have Don't Worry Darling on this list.
Really?
Maybe I need to look up a better list. I don't know. They got The Whale on there. They got The Northman.
Should I talk whale?
Talk Whale. Whale Talk.
Whale talk. So, my favorite director, I was excited about it. Although now that I've looked into it more, I understand what happened. He actually didn't want to direct this one. He was just going to sponsor the script to be directed by someone else like he did with Jackie and
Mhm.
other he's done it with a few other movies, I think.
Mm.
Um so he was like looking for someone else to direct it, but then he just decided to direct it. And it's your Brendan Fraser comeback. He did the comeback with Mickey Rourke, so he's got to be able to do the Brendan Fraser comeback. And in a sense it is, and Brendan Fraser does great in it. Like he's definitely star of the show and no problems with his acting. But it's just about a big old fat gross gay guy. And the plot is this big fat gross gay guy is going to die cuz he's too big and fat and
Yeah,
gay.
and gay.
And what was his life all about?
Yeah.
And that's the movie. So like it's an interesting movie in the sense that it takes place in one room. Um and that it's rare you see a movie that does that. And
Mhm.
so like there's interesting stuff happening and I get like my favorite director Aronofsky, he's a good director. Like he does a good job directing, but just I wish he did something that was a little more fun because Whale is also a little depressing.
Yeah, is Big Brendan in every scene?
Just not every scene, but just about. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Uh,
like one or two scenes where he gets drugged by his daughter, and
yeah.
he's not in it.
Just going down the list. Let's see if there's anything else we should bring up. We got The Northman. I did an episode on that. It's my biggest episode. It's got like 23,000 views now. Um, just keeps climbing. Um, Northman was pretty cool. I actually think The Northman's better than most of the movies that will get nominated for Best Picture, and I don't think it'll even get nominated, but it should probably. I mean,
Hmm.
I didn't love it,
I've
but
heard people liked it, like, but it didn't perform well, and yeah, it kind of lost the buzz.
yeah, it's actually a really cool movie. I mean, it's definitely well made, and there's something about it. Like there's something there that's not present in almost any other movie, especially this year. But it just didn't register with the kind of people who I think make these decisions. So, um, but I would be happy to see that nominated. I don't think it will, but they got Bones and All on here. I actually watched this movie. That's outside of my like. I was not the target demographic. It's based
Hmm.
on like a young adult novel about teenage
Can
cannibals.
cannibals.
Although they're not like they're kind of like zombies, but they're like low grade zombies because they do want to eat.
Mm.
They don't have to. They can kind of.
But they're like
suppress.
not magical, or
No, they
they
don't
are
have any
magical.
special power. They don't. They're not. Oh, they do actually have one special power, which is just the ability to smell other people from
Mm.
far away. Like they can, I guess, they can smell when people are sick, or they can smell each other. They know another cannibal is around. Um, it's an interesting movie. It's like a romance mixed with cannibalism, so it's kind of goofy. And they got Chalamet in there. So I think in my tweet I said, don't show this movie to teen girls because I think it makes the cannibalism stuff look like
Too much
um
fun.
yeah, I mean they always present it as gross, but they also I could see teen girls watching it and being like, I should be like that. I should do that.
Speaking of, I've got a link here. Uh, Teenage zombie romance movies. There's the movie Warm Bodies
I remember that one. Yeah.
with Nicholas Holt, right?
Yeah.
And he is in a movie this year called The Menu.
Yeah.
Did you watch The Menu?
I haven't seen it. I've wanted to see it.
So it's out on streaming now. So that's how I saw it.
Oh, streaming. We love streaming.
Yeah, we love to stream.
You don't have to leave your house.
But I saw some people being like, "Oh, this movie's just as Reddit as Knives Out," which we haven't talked about. But I actually kind of liked it. It wasn't good, but there were elements of it that I found entertaining, and it was just kind of like a quick watch. It didn't feel like a drag.
Mhm. I had thought it looked like that movie we like a prestige version of that movie we watched, The Hunt.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like that, but I'd say it's a little tighter than that. Like I thought there was going to be much more like cannibalism and like cuz it's the menu and then it's like what are they're going to kill us? So I thought
Yeah.
it was going to be like cannibalism, but it's not cannibalism. And it's more like I feel like what it is it's supposed to be a commentary on service workers. So like if you've worked at a restaurant, you'll probably like the movie.
Oh,
But
yeah. Okay.
and it touches on some like cultural stuff. But because like one of the parts was like everyone's figuring out why they're to be killed at this dinner party thing,
Mhm.
and one of the people that are there is just the assistant to this celebrity, and so like the celebrity, you find out why he wants to kill him, but then the assistant's like, well, what about me? And he's like, what university did you go to? And she's like, Brown. And uh, he's like, how much student loans did you take out? And she's like, none. And he's like, that's why. And she was just like, okay. So social commentary. But
Yeah.
Nicholas Holt does a good job playing a huge a-hole, and so like in a dweeb. So
Mhm.
I was like, he kind of looks like that, so it was good casting on that.
Um, you mentioned Knives Out. I only have, like, 10 more minutes, so let's talk about Knives Out real quick.
We'll end it on Knives Out, the greatest movie of the year.
Yeah, we were gonna talk about 2023, but we'll save it.
We
We'll do
could
that.
save that, yeah.
We'll do a 2023 preview, but, Knives Out, that was kinda the last movie of the year to make a splash because it hit Netflix, like, on Christmas or something, so
And it was only out in theaters for like a week, right?
yeah, they did a short little theater thing. I think probably that I don't know. Does that qualify it for awards or
I
something?
don't know.
I don't know. Um, yeah. So Knives Out. What'd you think?
Yeah, it's a dumb movie. Um, in my opinion, though, it is watchable. So, like, I get why. Like, I've seen a lot of normies online being like, "I love Knives Out. It was fun." And like, to a certain extent, like, it's just a murder mystery, and so you can kind of be like, "Oh, I didn't know that happened. Oh, I didn't pick up on that." So it's like fun in that sense, and like, it's got big actors or whatever. But yeah, it makes me doubt that Ryan Johnson is a good director.
Yeah, or at least here's what I'd say about Johnson is that he's a bad storyteller, but he's a competent director because so much of
Ah,
directing is being it's a technical thing and
yeah, like technically it's
management
fine.
it's a management project, but he's not a good storyteller to me. Knives Out, man, I thought this was one of the was a brutal watch.
But you couldn't even enjoy it on the sense of like, I wonder how it happened.
No, because um and I could kind of tell this was going to happen, but Ryan Johnson does this thing, and I think one of our loyal fans pointed this out. So I'm kind of stealing their argument. Was it? I think it was Yab. Um, he was saying that Johnson does this thing where, so in a normal mystery, kind of a classic mystery movie, most of the stuff you would need to solve the mystery was in the movie at some point.
Right.
And so the audience gets to participate. They get to solve the
Hmm.
mystery too. And you get to be a smart guy, with your on date night or whatever, if you can solve it before the movie does. But he doesn't even he just sort of halfway through the movie says, "Oh, here's all this stuff that I was never going to show you." Or that
Yeah, it's very cheating on that sense. Yeah.
so it's not even to me it's not even it's not a murder mystery because you
Although I've
couldn't.
seen like 80 videos on YouTube that are like how to solve Knives Out Glass Onion uh with the first hour only.
I'd be
So like
curious.
there's people that are claiming you can, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But
But
I mean there's
that's what this movie is made for, is like the YouTube discussion,
oh yeah, the
like
movie
video essays.
I saw this tweet. It was something like Avatar has made 1.4 billion, but no one's talking about it. Knives Out just came out on Netflix and everyone's talking about it. And it's like, well, yeah, because this movie was made for Redditors and like what we'd normally
Hmm.
previously call a blue check. Like that's who this movie was made for. Like the pre Elon Musk blue checks, of course, love this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's like all about like saying
Daniel
like,
Craig confirmed gay.
yeah, the gay detective brought down Elon Musk, who's obviously Edward Norton's playing Elon Musk, basically.
Evil Elon Musk by
Uh,
a black woman magic who throws chairs at a Waffle House.
yeah, black woman magic. Obviously, rich
That
people are.
is how the movie ends, by the
Yeah,
way. The
obviously,
black lady just starts breaking stuff,
yeah,
and that through breaking stuff she solves the murder mystery.
yeah. I thought the breaking stuff was very dumb, but um, and then other when I have in some places said it's not a good murder mystery or it's not a murder mystery at all, people say, well, that's because it's a comedy. And well, if it's a comedy, it's not that funny. So it's
No,
not
it's
really.
not like that's the dumb part is like the comedy is dumb. The comedy is just like, hey, look, we referenced something that you know.
Yeah,
Like it's very like reference humor and
yeah,
yeah, like I didn't care about any of the characters. I didn't think they were that interesting, any of them. And like the one that would have been interesting was Dave Batista,
yeah,
his character, but his was just so dumb because it wasn't based at all in reality. It's like a blue checks view of what that type of guy would be, and it doesn't ring true at all, and so it just was dumb.
yeah. And they say he's like a men's rights or right wing podcaster or something, but
Uh-huh.
or streamer.
He's a Twitch streamer that's a men's rights activist.
Yeah, but we never actually get to hear any of his evil men's rights or right wing
Yeah,
talking
all they
points.
show is he's actually cucked by his mom, who's smarter than him and better than
Yeah,
him. And
and his
his
mom is
mom,
like seems very Jewish for some reason.
yeah, and the mom is like telling him to be quiet, and he listens because he's just a sad little man who lives in his mom's basement.
Yeah, it's uh, but it's supposed to be funny because he's right wing, I guess. I don't know. Um, but yeah, he never. But Ryan Johnson doesn't have the courage to actually like put a right wing argument on screen, so he just
Yeah,
tells it.
and it's one of the, you know what it is as well, is it's one of those movies where it's just like this was kind of like a movie to give the actors a break because it's like it's just filmed in an idyllic location.
Yeah,
So it was
and
like filmed during COVID, which they like highlight. And then but it's just like, oh, they got to go to like a vacation island in Greece and film a movie together.
yeah, and actually, I think I would have received this movie a bit differently if it wasn't like a bunch of A-listers and it was more like because
Mm,
this doesn't feel like a real like movie. Like
no.
it feels kind of like half thought. So it's like if I found this on Netflix and it was just no name people, it would maybe be kind of cool. Like that some small movie did this, but for what's supposed to be a big movie and all these big names, like it's not very good.
No. But that that being said, if you just like watching a movie, it's definitely one of those.
Yeah, if you're with someone who, especially who's like not a movie person or whatever, yeah, go
Uh-huh.
for it. Go for
Yeah.
it. And
Okay.
I won't tell the audience what you hope happens in the next Knives Out movie.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
I actually have to run, so that's
Okay.
the end. So 2022, glad to see it go, I guess.
Yeah. See you later.
Later.